All right. Okay, so why am I so excited about juice and to teach you guys about the benefits of juicing is because there's so many advantages and it's so easy to just fit into your daily routine, your weekly routine, and really supercharge your health. And that's one of the, the main goals of this office is to get you guys functioning and feeling better and then keep you, right? And we do that through introducing the 5 essentials of human health. Everyone know what they are, right? It starts with the function of your brain and nervous system, and then you got to get oxygen and movement into the tissues, and then you got to feed those cells proper nutrition, make sure that your body can detoxify, and of course you got to have the right mindset about it, because it's not easy doing this stuff, making that extra effort to do the right thing for your body. It's not easy, right? Everyone agree? So the mission of this clinic is to empower you guys with the best information so that you guys can reach the end of your life. Hi, come on, have a seat. Living it on your terms, because who wants to be on a cruise ship at the end of their life, living it on their terms versus ending up in a nursing home staring at a tray of pills like most Americans end up, right? Nobody wants that second option. So you got to do the things that no one else is doing if you want a different result. Does that make sense? We don't want to end up where everybody else is going, because guess what? Cancer and heart disease are both preventable and reversible, yet they're still the top 2 killers of Americans. So adding something like juicing into your daily lifestyle can help prevent you from ending up in those shoes. Diagnosis later on. Okay, if you've already had that diagnosis, just know that it is reversible if you do the right things. Some of you guys are suffering with autoimmune conditions, chronic inflammation, digestive issues. All of these things can be reversed if you do the right things. You have to remove what's interfering with your body's natural ability to what? To heal, right? So that's why we talk about the 5 essentials. Okay, we just mentioned them. Chiropractics, number 1, because it deals with the brain and nervous system and getting that functioning at a higher level. The nervous system controls what systems? Everything. All of them, right? So once you got this in line, all of the other ones become very important, but they're secondary to getting your nerves firing right. Okay? Is my clicker going to work? Might have to go manual. Okay. So we got to talk about the states. Oh, it did work. It just jumped here. Okay. The SAD reality, standard American diet. It's the SAD diet. Okay. We consume an enormous amount of chemicals in our processed foods, enormous amount of sugars. We don't get a lot of actual nutrients into our cells. Our cells are starving for nutrients because our food supply, most of what we eat, grocery store, restaurants, of course the fast food places, are full of chemicals and toxins. And we're eating too many animal products and animals that are sick themselves. So if you eat sick animals, guess what? You become sick too. So look at this, 7% fruits and vegetables. This should be totally reversed, don't you think? Right? But we're not really eating that way, so we're going to end up with the same lifestyle diseases as everybody else if we don't change something, all right? And this is one of the biggest reasons why, one of the bigger culprits on why we have so much inflammation, so much chronic illness, gut issues, autoimmune issues, cancers, heart disease. It's all fed by an overconsumption of sugar because it disrupts so many of the systems in the body. Actual cancer cells, sugar is responsible, and the amount that we consume in various forms is astonishing. All right, so high fructose corn syrup is in just about anything that's packaged and canned. 170 pounds of sugar and 65 pounds of high fructose corn syrup, and it just increases every year. It gets worse and worse. The food companies don't really care about your health. They care about getting you addicted to their foods. And yes, Tammy, so it's all about making their products as cheap as possible so that they can maximize their profit. But it comes at the expense of your health. This ingredient right here, it literally feeds cancer cells. It's what your cancer cells use to replicate and to thrive. So you want to know what it takes to prevent cancer, to even reverse it once you have it? It's not always as cut and dry as just cutting out sugar, but that's a big, big factor, okay? Cutting out sugar is going to allow your body to function at such a higher level, it's ridiculous. So we got to talk about that. All right. Too much sugar leads to too much inflammation. And chronic disease, every single chronic disease that you can name has inflammation at the root cause of it. All right? You add too much sugar and bad fats, damaged fats, and then you got a toxic recipe that's going to lead you off a cliff. You're headed towards disaster if you don't change the way that you consume food. So these are the two big things to change right here. Bad fats, which you get from conventionally raised animals, from processed foods, from cooking with vegetable oils that turn rancid, they turn into a trans fat. Every boxed food, processed food, they all contain canola oil, vegetable oils. If you guys are cooking even with olive oil, you got to switch that to a safer type of oil to cook with, like saturated fats like coconut oil that have a very high smoke point. Did you guys know that? As healthy as olive oil is, you can't cook with it. You can drizzle it all you want on salads, highly recommended, but you don't want to cook with it. We're not going to get into a big nutrition 101 here. We're just going to cover like the big culprits of why we're so sick and inflamed and chronically ill. And if you guys are interested in learning more about like the nitty-gritty about nutrition, then Nutrition 101 workshops are, you know, the next step for you guys. But we got to talk about how much sugar we're consuming and how it's causing inflammation. Okay, so why green juice? Because it's such an easy way to just flood your cells with incredible amounts of dense nutrients that your cells require for normal function. And what's normal function? Normal function is health. Health is normal function. If you don't have the right building blocks inside your cells, they cannot perform their duties. So your brain cells can't function properly, your liver cells can't function properly to detoxify, your muscle cells can't contract properly if you don't give them the proper building blocks. And what are those building blocks? It's the nutrients that come from the food that we're supposed to eat. And you looked at the slide back there, the SAD diet, the Standard American Diet. It's sorely lacking in nutrients. So what's one of the easiest ways that I've found with nutrients so that I don't have to be eating salads 3 times a day? Who wants to do that? You should have a lot of salads, but even me, I don't want to sit there and eat raw vegetables and salads all day long. So what's a more convenient, faster, more densely packed way to do it? Well, fit in 1 green juice every day, and you get the equivalent of multiple salads, multiple vegetables, all in one sitting. And when you remove the fiber that you have to chew and then digest, by the way, fiber is good. You don't want to completely eliminate it, but we're talking about supplementing your diet with extra nutrition. A quick way to get into the cells is to juice it. Because what does the liquid do? It gets right into the bloodstream, right into the cells. They can use it right away. And green juice versus fruit juices is a very, very important key point that you guys want to take away from tonight. It's a bad idea to start consuming large amounts of fruit juices once it's not that fruits are bad for you. Okay, organic fruits are necessary for you to get, vitamins and minerals into your body, but you want to consume them in moderation, and you don't really want to take the fiber out of the fruits because of all of the sugar that you're then taking in. The fructose, you can consume an enormous amount of sugar just by drinking natural fruit juice. So what was once healthy becomes harmful. Does that make sense? So like a tall glass of orange juice, not the greatest idea. If you're going to juice something like carrots, very, very high in sugar. eat all the carrots you want, but don't juice an enormous amount of them. You want to stick to what's dark and leafy and green. Those are the key points. Now, do we add fruits to some of the recipes to make them taste good? Absolutely. I would never want to just drink grass clippings. Who wants to do that? No. So you're going to see in the recipes, the bulk of it is vegetables, but I always add some fruits to it to make it taste good. And the juice that I made for you guys tonight, I think it's probably the best batch I've ever made myself. It's so tasty, but the bulk of it, 2/3 or more of it, is dark leafy greens, celery, cucumber. Does that make sense? You gotta fit in the veggies. It's all about the veggies, guys. Okay, weight loss, that's one of the big points. You guys who wants to lose more weight, green juice, fit a green juice every day. You're gonna just start shedding the pounds. You wanna really accelerate weight loss, then do a green juice challenge, like a 10-day, 14-day. You can even do a 30-day green juice challenge where that's all you're consuming, and you'll be just fine on energy levels. But your cells are going to be so flooded with nutrients, and the calorie content is going to be so low, your body has no choice but to burn all of that fat off. Okay? Decreasing inflammation, big time. If you guys cut out the sugar, what do you think is going to happen? Your cells are going to normalize. Inflammation is going to go down. You're going to have less joint pain, less headaches. You're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel like you have so much energy. If you guys are dealing with chronic disease like gut issues, autoimmune conditions, I know some of you guys are going through that. The best way to start to reverse and heal that is to give your body a complete rest for an extended period of time on the standard American diet. You got to cut it out, and you have to give your body a rest from this regular way of eating. So some people, depending on where you are with your health, they might do well with 2 weeks. Some people, if they're dealing with an autoimmune condition, okay, so for example, like psoriasis of the skin, other digestive related issues where the body's attacking itself, you have to allow those cells to heal completely. And sometimes it takes a month, 2 months of complete gut rest where you're doing nothing but water, green juice, and bone broth, because of all that. It helps plug those leaky gut issues. Okay, so it's a little bit more complicated than that, but if you guys are dealing with some of these issues that we mentioned, I want you guys to email me so we can start consulting about what the best way to approach this is. It's not about just jumping on and making whatever juice, or it's got to be like, let me guide you through this healing process, because it's a little bit more complicated than just all of a sudden I'm going to drink celery every day and all my problems are going to go away. It's not that simple. Okay, increased energy, of course. Okay, what's next? All right, immunity. Well, guess what tanks your immune system? Too much sugar. Okay, your adrenal glands being burnt out, your hormones just going out of control because of all the inflammation. And if you want better immune function, you have to have better gut function. You have to have a low sugar intake. All of those things matter. All right. And remember, immune cells, well, they require the same building blocks as a muscle cell or a liver cell or a brain cell. They require nutrients too. So if your immune cells are going to perform, they have to have those micronutrients that we were designed to consume. All right, and you find those micronutrients in food. You got to eat the right type of food, and you have to have it in the right amounts. All right, all the cells, they improve in function once you flood them with the right nutrition. Can you do it other ways? You could eat just a very natural diet of mostly plants. But what we're talking about is that juicing is such an easy way to flood your cells and increase the amount of nutrients that it's a good idea to fit in. All right, 3 rules to remember when juicing. Sorry, can you guys see over there? Maybe I'll move to this side for a second and let you guys see. Okay? Very important rules, okay? If the pocketbook allows for it, very, very important, because this is going to greatly reduce your toxic burden on your liver and on your other detox organs. Okay, organic is always, always better than non-organic. Yes, it's more expensive, but if you're juicing, you are consuming so much produce. Think about the amount of toxicity from juicing non-organic produce versus organic, because I could never sit down and eat as much produce as I could juice and drink in one sitting. It's an enormous amount of nutrients. And so if you're just constant, and think about it, if you're doing it every day, repeatedly, your toxic burden inside your body, the chemicals that have been shown to cause cancer. So be very careful about choosing organic versus non-organic when you can, okay? More vegetables than fruit. We already covered the why behind that. Vegetables are extremely, extremely low in sugar. Versus fruit, if you remove the fiber out of the fruit after juicing it, you're going to have such incredible insulin spikes. It's going to be the same thing as eating just a Snickers bar and a bowl of Fruit Loops and then a big bowl of ice cream. It's going to be the same thing. Your body's not going to know the difference. Okay, so fruit can become damaging if you consume them in too high amounts. And then if you remove the fiber, which controls the sugar release, it's all over. Okay? Diversity is more beneficial than your normal routine. So I'm going to show you a couple recipes here. You're going to go home with them. But just know that I don't stick with the same plants every single day. And especially when I'm doing like a 14-day juice cleanse. I do this about once a year, and where I do nothing but green juice all day long. I drink about at least a gallon of it a day for 14 days straight. It just flushes everything out. My cells, my body feels amazing after. I don't just stick with 14 days. You have to cycle to get the different micronutrients that exist in nature. You don't just stick with one. Okay, greens, like dark leafy greens, are a super important ingredient. Cucumber and celery are the my two favorite ingredients to make up the volume of the juice. So let's say I have an 8-ounce glass of juice. 2/3 of that is going to be celery and cucumber because they're so full of water that you get that volume. When you extract the liquid from the plant, some plants will give you just a little drop, and then some plants like celery and cucumber, you're going to get a lot of volume because they're so hydrating. There's so much water in them. Does that make sense? So cucumber and celery, always have them on hand. Other versions, so cycling them, you move to, who's heard of bok choy? Bok choy is very similar to, yeah, it's like cabbage and celery kind of mixed together. Very hydrating. You get a lot of water extracted from the bok choy. Cilantro, I've put a little bit of cilantro in the recipe you guys are going to taste later. Those things you add for flavor. Okay? You don't put a lot of them in because it can overpower the whole juice. Like beets. Be careful with beets because they, even in small amounts, that's all you're going to taste. So if you don't like the taste of beets, maybe skip on the beets in your green juice, but have just like a shot of just pure beet juice in the morning to kickstart your liver and cleanse that liver out. It's extremely, extremely beneficial for red blood cells, the production of all that. Beet juice is incredibly potent, but personally, the taste of it alone is much better than when I mix it in the juice, because I still only taste the beet juice, even if I put a little bit in my tall glass of green juice with apples and lemons and ginger, I still only taste beet. Okay, ginger, very powerful. A root, you're going to taste some ginger. I made a little potent, I call it the flu shot. It's the only flu shot we recommend here. And it's extremely, extremely concentrated ginger extract. Basically, you're going to take a little shot of it, and you're going to feel it. It's going to burn on the way down. It's going to feel so good. Okay? Who likes ginger here? If you don't like ginger, it's okay. You don't have to drink it. It's okay. But these are some of my favorite ingredients for juicing. Okay? The greens is for the nutrition. This is where you get the fortification. All the power come from the dark leafy greens. So name me some dark leafy greens that could go in a juice. Spinach, kale, sorry? Romaine, very high in the nutrient index. I didn't even know that till recently. Romaine is actually very dense in nutrients. Kale, very dense in nutrients. Spinach, yeah, exactly. So that's where you get the power from.
But beet greens.
The greens from the beets, yeah, absolutely. Dandelion greens, those are very bitter. This is where you get the bulk of the juice, and these kinds of things are more for flavoring. And of course you get some nutritional benefits like from ginger and cilantro, but they make the juice taste so good. So that's how you split up the different categories of ingredients.
What about parsley?
Yeah, parsley, awesome. I often throw a whole head of parsley in there. It's so detoxifying. It's good for the breath and all of that. Parsley is excellent. Okay, so we mentioned the greens. These are some of the greens you could cycle. One day you're having kale. One day you're having the collard greens. Okay, another day you're using spinach. The other types of ingredients, okay, where you get a lot of volume, cucumber. We talked about celery, bok choy. Let's just flip through these really quickly so we can get through the actual juice tasting. Who wants to taste some juice? Cilantro, very, very flavorful. So be careful with the cilantro. It's going to come out in a half a pack. You know the packs of cilantro, about how big they come in. About half a pack of cilantro is what I put into the big gallon. You definitely taste it. So things like that, very flavorful. You can use it. All right, ginger, very, very, very healthy. If you guys are, struggling through allergy season, flu season, and, you're making your adjustments, but you got to make some tweaks in the other essentials in your life to keep boosting your immune system even more than it already is, throw in some ginger into your daily diet. It's really going to make a difference. Okay? Now let's talk about the juicers here. So you see two different types of juicers. And the difference is huge. And the reason I use both because they're good at different things. Both can do everything, but this one does, for example, dark leafy greens much better than this one. This one does very hard produce like apples, celery, cucumber much better and quicker than this one. So let's talk about that, and I'll demonstrate. So the centrifugal is this one right here. So it's got a fast spinning blade, and you can fit usually a lot in there, and you can fit a whole apple, a whole lemon in there. An entire stalk of celery goes bzzz, and it's done like that. So this one, if you're thinking about like efficiency of time, this is the one you want to invest in. The only downside about this one is that when it comes to, well, the most important part of the juice, which is the dark leafy greens. Now, I guess the best way is just to show you guys, because of the fast spinning blade, this thing is going to take kale, lettuce, and it's just going to shred it, and it's going to throw it in the garbage back here, and you'll see I'm going to get a drop, if I'm lucky, of this stuff here. Okay, so I'm making a huge mess here. So this one's actually, romaine's more hydrated than a spinach leaf. There's more water content, so this one actually didn't do too bad. If I had put spinach in here, it would have just shredded it, and I would have got a little drop here. So for the dark leafy greens, I put them in here, because this is called a slow masticating juicer versus the high-speed centrifugal one. So, but you see, everybody see the tiny hole that I have to stuff this in. So what does that mean? It requires more prep time. But the advantage is that I get so much more juice out of this machine than this one. So in terms of your value of what you spent, because some of this produce is expensive, you want to extract every drop possible. This one's going to produce more juice at a higher quality because it's not heating that fast spinning blade and all that friction is destroying some of the lipid for your cells and for digestion that this machine will destroy. It's not that you're not going to get benefits from juicing only from this machine. You still will. I just prefer this one because it takes a slower time to squeeze out every last drop. And we're going to compare the pulp from both after. So I feel like I've got my own cooking show right now or something like that. So all right, so this one, it can hardly fit anything into that little tube, but once that pulp starts coming out, I might have to throw in some celery to push it out. Okay, so you see the pulp coming out? Okay, so this is extremely dry. There's really not much liquid left in here versus what got shredded in this one. So you see the difference? You're getting like a much. Can I have a? Thank you. She's on top of it. I didn't plan this out very well. My first live demo. Okay, thank you so much. You can see the difference right away. Like I still got some juice out of it. I actually got a decent amount. Thank you. But this one extracted so much more liquid out of the leaf, so you get a better extraction, you get a better value out of this one, but it takes you more time. You got to chop your carrots and your celery and your cucumber into smaller pieces so that they actually fit here. But they're both, you can buy both. They're both on the market still, yeah. Yeah, this one I found on Amazon. They'll often have deals. They can range anywhere from $350, but I think I paid $175 for mine. This is called the Omega. It's a slow, let's see if we can put it up on the, so this one's a centrifugal juicer. It's made by Breville. This is about $150 for this Breville. Now I really feel like I'm selling. It's less of a cooking show and more of an infomercial now. All right, how come? Nope. Sorry guys, technical problems here. Okay, so the masticating juicer is the Omega right here. It's got just like a single gear. Some have two gears that basically cold press the juice versus this high-speed spinning blade. But boy, do I like this machine when it comes to things like, you know, all right, so I've got both of them. I take it. And I can get on with my day versus I would have had to put, you know, I probably cut each stalk in half to fit in here, and it would have taken me several minutes. So same thing like with this lemon, I could put the whole thing in there versus I got to cut this in 6 pieces to fit down this tube. So advantages to both, right? And I use both almost every time because I'll put the celery in here because this one will do a good extraction from hard things like carrots and celery. It'll be a dry pulp. This one will get more out of it, but it'll take you longer. Now, soft things like a really soft cucumber, a really soft pineapple or mango, this one just gets stuck in the gear and it doesn't even push it out, and actually the mush comes out. So again, this one does better with things like pineapple and like a softer cucumber. I would just throw the whole thing in here instead of this one it gets kind of stuck in there. But there's a solution to that because most people are not going to invest in both of them. They're just going to choose one. I do recommend this one because of the extraction. So what do you do when you get like a soft cucumber and you put it in, or let's do this lemon here. I got to cut it a bunch of times. Okay, so you got that. It's gonna struggle to get it through. where's my celery at? I have to alternate soft and stringy and fibrous, soft and stringy. So if you alternate something soft and then you put something hard, and then another piece of soft, and then some very fibrous kale, and you alternate like that, you get an amazing extra things that normally would get stuck. Okay. Then throw in some ginger. It's very fibrous. You can see that pushed it out perfectly. So if you're doing too many soft things, it will get stuck in here, but you got to feed some very dense, stringy, fibrous vegetables like celery or the ginger or kale, and then it pushes it right through. Okay?
Where's the juice on that one?
It collects right here in this little tub, and then the pulp gets pushed into here. This one just has a much bigger tray for it. So I hope that helps clarify the differences between the two juicers and the advantages and disadvantages of both.
Cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning.
Just the little front.
Yeah,
Is all you clean to that.
so cleaning. You take this off, take it apart. It's just a few pieces actually,
Oh, wow.
and you rinse it right out. Same thing with this one. It's just a few pieces. You rinse it right out. Yes.
Just gonna say, so what do you do with that?
The pulp. The pulp. Yeah, you can throw the pulp in a compost pile.
What about throwing it on the blender? Wouldn't you still get the same out of it?
Yeah, let's talk about the blender thing. Okay, so you got manual crank juices for things like wheatgrass. These are very good too. Can you actually, I didn't bring the blender out, but can you just bring me the cheesecloth that's on the blender? So here's the deal with blender, because not everybody's going to have the finances right away to invest in a $150 juicer or like a $200+ juicer. So you can actually start juicing and incorporating all of this, the benefits of flooding your cells, just flooding your cells with dense nutrients with a blender at home, some water, the vegetables, and what's called this is a nut bag. It's stronger than a cheesecloth, which everyone's heard of a cheesecloth, right? You strain things through. On Amazon, you get a pack of 2 of these. You double it up. You put, let's do this right here. You put the pulp in. Let's say this was what I blended in the juicer, or sorry, the blender. I put some water, my vegetables and fruits in the blender, turn the blender on, and then you pour the mixture into your jug, straining it through here, and then you're just going to squeeze it, and the juice comes out. So you can juice still, even if you don't have a juicer, your blender is good enough if you get these $6 nut bags, they're called, because they're used to make like almond milk, nut milks. Put the nuts, soak them overnight, put them in the blender with some water. You blend it, you strain it through the nut bag, and all of a sudden you've got some fresh homemade almond milk or cashew milk. It's phenomenal. As fresh as and preservative-free and chemical-free. It's amazing. So any more questions on how to use a blender?
I point out the fact that if you use a blender, you do have to add a decent amount of water. The first time I did it,
Yep.
I didn't realize that, so I had like salad mushed in my blender. And I so.
Yeah, you will create a mush if you don't add enough water. So your juice will be more watered down than this, which is just pure juice extraction. I usually water down my juice anyways to make it last longer. Some of these juices are so concentrated in flavor. I like to get more out of it, so I'll add at least a third, top it up with distilled water, and then it'll last a lot longer. But yes, great point, Courtney. If you're using a blender and a couple of nut bags to strain them, you got to add some water to it, obviously, and then you have a mixture that it'll actually blend in. You're just going to have shredded lettuce. Yes?
Would you do one meal at a time, or do you?
So if I'm in a habit, or if I'm in a season where I'm just consuming a juice on occasion, I'll just make one, a tall glass in the morning. I'll either make a concentrated ginger lemon shot, like that flu shot I was talking about, or I'll make a tall glass of green juice, and I'll just make a one-off. Sometimes I have extra vegetables just to make 2, and I'll save the other one for the next day, but it's never more than 1 or 2 at a time. But if I'm doing an extended cleanse, an extended, I don't call it a juice fast, it's a juice feast, because you're flooding your cells with so many nutrients. It's really, we're juice feasting, not fasting. But if I do my yearly, from morning till night, it's so much juicing. It's so much work. I do it all, I take a couple of hours and I do it all at once. That's including the cleanup and all of that. And I make a gallon at a time.
How long will that keep, how long will it hold its nutrients? And
Great question. So the green juice, if you top it up, like let's say you're not going to drink it right away, which would be the best case scenario. You drink it, you bought it fresh, the plant's still somewhat alive, the enzymes are still alive, you juice it and you drink it. That would be the best case scenario. If you have to store it, I recommend putting it in a container till it's topped up so no air is in it, so it won't oxidize. And if you remove all the air out of it, or as much as possible, it can last several days in the fridge and still taste fresh. Another trick to preserve it for a few days, because of the oxidation that happens at the browning, essentially, you know, when you leave an apple out and it browns, it's exposure to oxygen that degrades it. Well, throw in an antioxidant into the juice, like vitamin C crystals. I have some just back there. I put them into your juice that you're going to have because I made it a few hours ago and I didn't want it to brown. So I put in a big scoop of vitamin C, and that's preventing the attack from oxygen on the nutrients. So I just got this at the GNC. This is crystals, okay? You can also, I use this as my daily, one of my daily vitamin supplements as well, by the way. It's very good for the immune system. Very good for and connective tissue formation. Vitamin C, by the way, a little plug for vitamin C. But the juice lasts several days, and it still tastes fresh.
And you use like food saver and vacuum seal it?
You can, absolutely. That's even next level, because then you take all the oxygen out. Absolutely. So we just answered that question. Very good. You were ahead of me there. All right. Okay, so juicing versus blending. So this is an important point. I love smoothies just as much as I like green juice. And nutrients in, like breakfast for me is a smoothie because it's quick, it's densely packed, and it's become a part of my routine. The difference is that in a smoothie, you retain all of the fiber from the produce, from the spinach that you might add in, from the fruits like the berries that you might throw in. You retain all of the fiber, which is great. You want to have enough fiber in your diet to begin with. So you wouldn't just do green juice constantly with eliminating all fiber sources from your diet. That's not smart. You want to have mainly a plant-based diet where most of them are eaten in raw form, if not lightly steamed, so that you retain as much fiber as possible. This juicing workshop is just to teach you how to supplement and to flood and supercharge your cells with the nutrients that are so lacking in our diets. But that doesn't mean you should eliminate all the fiber and just juice all the time. Throw in a smoothie every now and then. Throw in a lot of raw veggies in your diet. Okay, so that's the difference. Blending retains the fiber. Juicing extracts all of the fiber, so you get just the juice. And what did we say about extracting all the fiber from fruits? Sugar. You just get the fructose sugar. And who remembers Steve Jobs? What did Steve Jobs die of?
Was it pancreatic?
Pancreatic cancer. And near the end, he had been given some terrible advice. He went the natural route of dealing with cancer, which, we have cancer workshops where we talk about stuff like that. That's not for tonight. But Steve Jobs was just, basically he was given bad advice. Because juicing can be extremely beneficial. The recipes I'm going to share can be extremely beneficial to the cell's ability to fight cancer. But if your juices are nothing but sugar, meaning just mostly fruits, you're going to make the cancer worse. And that's what I've read, the road that he went down, the mistakes he made, was that he was basically just given bad advice. Here, you can reverse cancer with green juice. Well, it's not as simple as that. Yes, green juice is extremely powerful. You can raise your body's ability to fight cancer, absolutely. But what's in the juice? Is it ingredients like broccoli that have been scientifically shown to kill cancer? Is it a lot of broccoli and spinach and kale, which are so dense in nutrients? Or is it mostly apples and oranges and carrots? And, very, very careful of your recipes, because you can have the opposite effect happen in your body than the goal that you're trying to aim for. And that's based on what's in the juice. So the bulk of the juices have to be what? Well, fruits are plants too, but so plant-based is you're on the right track here, but veggies is the bulk of them, right? So that's juicing versus blending versus fruits versus vegetables. Okay? Yes?
What about asparagus? How would you intake that? Because that's supposed to be good.
Extremely healthy, right? My man, if you can handle the taste of juiced asparagus, you go right ahead. That's all. Hey, there's no right and wrong here. I don't even follow specific recipes, as you're going to learn later. Like the juice I made, I basically just made it from eyeballing. Okay, I know I need 2/3 cucumber, celery, apple, because that's all my water content. It's gonna fill up the jug. And then, okay, the last third, I have to fortify it with nutrients. So, okay, so here's how much I've got left. I'm going to keep adding kale until I've... I eyeball things. And I've done it for so many years. I'm good at estimating how many lemons, how many apples, how many stalks of asparagus it might need.
Do you blanch it first or just throw it in?
No, you want to juice things raw. You want to completely juice it, because you're going to lose nutrients in the so blanching is like putting them in hot water and letting them soften, or steaming them. You want to, anytime you're juicing something or blending something, you want to do it raw, because you get the most nutrients out of that. But yeah, juicing beets, super potent. Beet juice is one of the most powerful things you could put in your body. Asparagus is an incredible vegetable, incredible. So yes, you can juice it, and you could drink a heck of a lot more asparagus in that sitting than you could ever eat. So you want to maximize the benefits of asparagus or beets, juice it and drink it. Absolutely. I just don't like the taste.
How does this compare to your Max Greens that you usually put in smoothies?
Yeah.
The benefit that you get from that, because I put the Max Green in my smoothies. So.
Yeah. So on a scale of good, better, best, good, would be consuming a powdered version of a juice. It's a good thing to add and supplement into your diet. We'll talk about that in a second here. The better choice would be to juice fresh produce, and then the best choice would be to juice and blend organic fresh produce. So on a scale, they're all good things to do. If you got to start somewhere and you can't afford the juicer or the organic produce or all that extra groceries that it takes to juice, then yeah, just take a scoop of the Max Greens every morning. There's that supplement and other types of supplements are densely packed in nutrition, and they've been dehydrated into a powder so that you can just reassimilate them with water or an almond milk or something. It takes no prep time, but you still densely pack the nutrients in your body. So that's a great question. And that's why they exist, because not everyone's going to take the time or have the time to do 2 hours of juicing in the morning to make a gallon. They'd rather just do the powder supplement and then maybe have a smoothie later on in the day, and it's much quicker. So there's different ways of getting your nutrition in, and that's a good way. This is a good way. Eating raw vegetables, they're all good. This is just one way of many to maximize your cell's ability to perform at a high level, because they need that nutrient density. So whether you get it from that bag or you get it from this leaf, get it in your body somehow. Every day, get it in your body somehow. Okay, oh, the challenge, wait, before I go. So we're gonna have a sign-up sheet with the different challenges, and not everybody's gonna jump on board and do 10 days right away. That's okay. Some of you are gonna try 3 days first, just to see how your body feels. Okay, so we're going to have an email list, and I want you, whoever wants to start this with me, put your email down, and I'm going to send you guys some information. We're going to have a start date set, and
after the holiday, right?
Yeah, after the holiday, right? Wait, nobody wants to bring their green juice at that Memorial Day barbecue. Nobody. Just here. You have the ribs. I'll have these grass clippings. So no, it's okay. I'm cleansing. Yes.
How do you choose the juices that are in the store, like that they sell, like?
Vegetable. So. Yeah, so the juices that they sell, they're already juiced for you. Great convenience. They're very expensive, but extremely convenient, right? You can pay like sometimes $9, $10 for a little thing of juice. The rule of thumb that I go by for the store-bought juices that are already made is that 1, it has to be vegetable-based. 2, if I can control it, I'll choose an organic product versus a non-organic product. And 3, it's like, well, is there a 3 even? It's vegetable and organic, and it's a time saver, really.
Well, but sometimes they'll throw an apple in with all the vegetables.
Yeah. So exactly. So I want to make sure that it's a vegetable-based juice, but if it has some fruits in it to flavor it, like a citrus fruit, like lemon, a green apple, a little bit of pineapple, that's okay with me. If I'm trying to reverse diabetes, no.
Okay. Because like some of them you buy, they'll say sugar is like 25, 15.
Yeah, so you want to pay attention, right? So if it's a carrot and orange juice, that's just all sugar.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Carrots, they say 0 sugar, so I'm confused.
The carrots are very high in sugar once you take all the fiber out. Yeah.
I mean, I just like
For juice.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you like do some celery? Because celery is going to give you the most liquid. Could you do like the celery and then like a scoop? I have a Garden of Life super greens.
Yeah, the powder.
Oh, it's so nasty. It's like grass. Because I don't know what to do with it because it's so nasty. Could I put that into my celery juice?
Yeah, it's still going to taste nasty.
Put some fruit with
You
it.
what grass would taste like after you mowed it?
Yeah, I smell this. It smells like grass. Yeah, there's no way around the taste sometimes, guys. But here's what I say about that. I'm going to eat anything that's good for me. I'm going to eat anything. If it's good for me, I'm gonna eat it. Asparagus too. I might not drink it, but I'll eat tons of asparagus. Right? So I get it. Some juice powders are better than others in taste. This one tastes like chocolate. Put it in almond milk. The Max greens that we sell are chocolate flavored greens.
Mine does.
Oh, wowzer.
Yeah.
Mine does. Do you have the green?
So
No, I don't.
some of them taste like grass clippings, and that's okay. You kind of just plug your nose and you chug it because it's so darn good for you.
Oh.
You know how you said too the difference between blending and juicing, when you juice, it's all juice and it goes directly to your...
Yeah, right into the bloodstream.
Yes, right to the bloodstream. So if I took my grass clippings and I put them in the celery, would they go directly to my blood, or would it be like I had used the blender?
The powder, you mean?
The stuff that I have at home that I want to get rid of.
Okay, so
It costs me a lot of money.
yeah, you want to use them. They're very expensive. They probably have probiotics in them too. You want to use it up for sure. Yes, anything that you blend in water and then drink is going to be absorbed a lot faster than something that your body has to mechanically break down, and all the enzymes through the intestines have to break it down. So solid food takes a lot longer to be absorbed into the bloodstream than a liquid. So that powder blended in your celery juice. But throw an apple in there. It's okay to throw a green apple in there, guys, because we want the juices to taste good. Throw a lemon. Throw an apple. Okay, throw a pineapple. We're going to get to some tasting some juice. How does that sound? Okay, so you got to have the juicers. You got to have the storage containers. You got to have the nut bags if you're going to blend. Those are the supplies you want to stock up on when you start juicing. So what to expect? We're going to talk a bit about what you guys are going to start to feel like once you start incorporating a lot more juice. To be honest, you might feel like crap.
Oh, great.
At first. If your body is not used to consuming this level of nutrition, like this amount of goodness, you may, start to detoxify immediately as soon as you start on this green juice regimen. And so as you start to detoxify, what do you think you're going to feel like? If your fat cells are releasing all sorts of toxins because now you're functioning at a higher level, you may get a headache. You may feel hungry because you're used to carbohydrates. You're used to breads and rice, and you're used to processed foods. And then when you start to eat less of that and more nutrition, your body's going to revolt. It's going to go on strike. Where's my cheeseburger? Where's my Fruit Loops? I'm not supposed to have this green juice for breakfast. It's gonna revolt. So there's a period of adaptation. Once you get through it, I promise you, the way that you're gonna feel, it's indescribable. It's such a higher level of energy, of clarity of thought. Your body just in all departments. Okay. Your intestines function better. You feel less hungry after. If you do the 10-day juice challenge, you're not gonna have the cravings that you have after 3 or 4 hours of not eating. Those are gonna go away, because guess what heals? Your cells and your insulin receptors on the cells are gonna heal. Okay, we can't get into all of those details tonight. But just know that if you stick through these initial days of drinking your grass clippings, you're going to feel amazing, okay? Because nutrition into the body equals better function, normal function. And guess what normal function feels like? Normal function is amazing. That's why we went into chiropractic, so that we can release, and maximize the normal function that already exists within your body. That's what we do in this clinic. We teach about the 5 essentials that maximize normal function. Normal function is amazing, guys, and this is how you can really kickstart and head towards that direction. You got to flood your cells with what they're craving. Okay, so you can expect once you start. You can expect to feel like you're starving. You can expect to feel just very weird in general, because your cells don't know what you're doing. What is all this health nonsense that you're doing to me? Yes?
All that goodness for us, it's not like going to keep us sitting on the throne, is it?
Fair warning. A beneficial side effect a beneficial side effect at first, improved digestion, which means improved bowel movements. Cleansing, when the body detoxifies, when the body cleanses itself, what does it have to do? It has to get all the junk out. And if the junk's been stuck in there for years and all of a sudden it has the ability to do so because now it has the tools are the nutrients that your cell needs to work. If you're not putting the tools in, your body doesn't have the means to do what it's designed to do. Now all of a sudden you're putting what God created your body to be able to do. You're putting the ingredients in. Now it can function better. And you've got years of I'm sorry, but you better make plan. You better plan around your juicing. So
Memorial Day.
But okay, so but it's like all kidding aside, everyone's going to react differently. Some of you might have bigger reactions to consuming a lot of green juice than others. I can't predict how your body's going to react, but I can tell you that if you're willing to go through this initial detox process, your body will normalize, and everybody's going to be different because everyone's on a different level of inflammation or different stages of chronic disease that you're trying to, so everyone's got different levels of intestinal issues going on. So I can't predict exactly how you're going to respond, but these are things you can expect and you got to be ready for. But at the end of that, normal function feels what? It feels amazing. Your body it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and then all of that goes away. Okay? You got to be willing to go through it. Not ready for the juices yet? You can still do liquid forms of highly densely packed nutrition in the form, we talked about it, the greens, the grass-fed whey proteins. It's as natural as you can get in a powder form. Highly densely packed with nutrients. So if you're not ready to invest in the juice, at least try a 3-day, a 5-day challenge where you're doing the greens powder, where you're putting in the plus some smoothies throughout the day. And these are the proteins we recommend because of how they were processed and made. They come from animals that were raised as natural as possible, so they fed their natural God-given diet of organic grasses. That's why we sell these ones versus the ones you find at Walmart, which are so full of toxins. So if you're not ready for the juicing right now, I recommend still hopping on the challenge with us and getting the greens powder, maybe not the ones she buys, but a grass-fed whey protein so that you can make the coconut milk and berry and spinach and protein smoothies that I have for breakfast every morning. Still feel full, still get the benefits. Add in a couple of the Max Greens throughout your day, and it's easy, easy, easy. You don't have to go through all this trouble just yet. But I want everyone to at least consider working your way up to juicing actual produce, investing in the machines, one or the other or both if you can, and then incorporating one juice every now and then. That's an easy, simple way to do it. How about on weekends? If this is too much work right now or you're intimidated by it, take a Sunday where you have a couple hours, go get some fresh produce, get your favorite recipe out, and start experimenting with the actual juice, and have that for lunch, have this for dinner, have it for a snack in between if you get too hungry at first. But you want to get to a place where you can go hours without eating and even just do green juices all day and you're still full of energy, still firing on all cylinders. All right, so we're going to get to tasting the juice now. Does that sound good?
Now for this 3-5, we take how many drinks a day?
I'm going to give you guys the information. You guys are going to just put your name on an email list if you're interested in doing it with us.
Okay.
You don't have to. All right, you can do it on your own if you want, but if you want to join like a more structured 3-day, 5-day challenge, that I'm going to lead, then go ahead, put your name on the email list, and then we're going to pick a start date, and I'll be in touch with you guys about that. So, which one is that?
The shot.
That's the ginger shot. Okay, so Okay, very, very constant. This is ginger, lemon, and apple. Very, very concentrated. I may have put too much ginger in this one.
I love ginger.
Yeah.
What if it goes ginger lemon what? Even like one a day when you're not on a challenge, just plan it.
Oh, one a day is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kids, yeah, kids will thrive off of getting more greens in their diets. Yeah, so one juice a day, even if you're not doing a challenge, just incorporating one a day, one every couple of days, fantastic habit. All right, so if you guys have your cameras out, you can take pictures of the recipes here.
Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Okay.
Don't change it yet.
Is that in the book?
Some recipes are in the book. It's mostly smoothies, though.
Is it green apple?
What's that?
So you need to take
Green apple. Green apple is the apple that has the least amount of sugar in it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's good. I love it.
I think it's good. Yeah.
Start every morning with that.
Do you have a recipe?
I will. Yeah, I'm going to email the recipe out to you guys. So whoever wants the recipes, put your name on the email list and say recipes only or recipe and challenge or just challenge. Okay? All right, everyone finish. There's another recipe after this.
Wait a minute. We're still taking.
Okay. I'll take one too.
That must be that grass that you tried.
Woo! I love it. What's that? You can. I batch it out. I have one every morning. I don't always do that. It's a lot of work, but yeah, you can absolutely start every morning with one of those. It's totally safe. Very concentrated, but super healthy.
So that's great for the immune system.
Very, very good for the immune system. Okay, so another recipe here. These are not the recipes that you're tasting. The one you're tasting has celery, cucumber, kale, asparagus. No, just kidding. No asparagus. Cilantro, green apple. And why green apple versus the other types of apple? It's the least amount of sugar in an apple. Green apple, very important tip. And lemon and ginger. That's what she's passing out right now. It's not nearly as concentrated as the shot you just took. Don't worry. This is more of an easy-going juice. Is it completely out? Okay. We will replace it very soon. Yeah.
On the recipe it says lime peel removed. Why is that? Because usually in the rind, in the peel, you would get the most fiber.
Yeah, but we're juicing this. We're extracting all the fiber anyways. And two, the peels have all the pesticides on it, and you know, if you're not getting organic, so.
Right.
But you can leave it on for the lemon, just not the taste like green juice.
The lemon and the lime, you can leave the peels on if they're organic. The lemon oils are gonna do a better number to the juice than the oils and the lime peel. It's a drier peel. The lemon oils give actually a great taste to the juice.
I like lemons. They have a peel.
Yeah. Everyone got this second recipe? These are not what you're drinking. Okay. And
You want to try one?
what you guys are tasting is my own recipe. I can write it down after. It's not these ones. These are other recipes you can also try. I recommend just mixing and matching till you find something you really enjoy.
Now, how many servings does that make?
That's going to make one very tall glass of juice. What? No. Number 6. Actually, that's going to make more. That's going to make a small pitcher actually with these amounts. That's going to make a small pitcher. Okay. I think there's one more that you guys can take a picture of and experiment with. And then those of you with notebooks, you can take down. I'll tell you guys my recipe.
Wait a minute.
Who thought it was? Who thought it was not going to hurt my feelings?
This one?
Yeah. You don't like it? You like the taste? Interesting.
The second taste.
You don't like the second one?
Better than the first one.
It's okay, yeah. It takes getting used to, definitely, right?
It is better than the
I'd
first
rather have the
That's the thing. Your taste buds are not used to this type of food right now, so it's going to take getting used to. Okay? Okay. Action steps. To finish off, we got to. None of this matters unless you guys actually take action. So the first thing is if you want to hop on a particular challenge, a 3-day, 5-day, 10-day, put your name on the email list and let us know, and then we'll guide you through the process. And the first thing you're going to want to do is invest in the equipment. So I ordered mine from Amazon. You could go to Bed Bath & Beyond. They all carry all kinds of different juicers. Walmart's going to have some different juicers. All right, remember the difference between the fast spinning ones and then the slow masticating ones with like this one right here. They both have their advantages, remember. If you want to use your blender, then you got to order what's called a nut milk bag. And I got these from Amazon for I think $6 for a pack of 2, I think. So these last longer if you double them up. That's why I recommend 2, because you can really press and the juice will come out and not pierce holes. It's once the holes start forming, you get little spurts of juice going all over your kitchen. So they last quite a bit. You just rinse them out. Yeah, you rinse them out. Okay, so you got to invest in the gear. You got to take the first step is actually plan this out. We talked about it takes work to produce the juice. It takes a mindset that's geared towards hitting a certain goal. You have to have the right mindset to be able to get through this because it's going to be difficult at first. Some of you guys, weren't sure about the taste. Your taste buds are not used to it yet. Flooding your cells with green juice is not easy at first if you're not used to it. And you're going to feel very hungry in those first few days if you're on a challenge doing nothing but green juice. Your body has to adapt. So you have to have the right mindset. That's an important action step, is to get this right up here. Plan it out. Plan what days you're going to do it. Invest in the right equipment. Use the blender, the juicer. Get a grocery list together based on the ingredients that you just took down. Or if you want to take down the juice that you just tasted, I'll give it to you right now. And remember, I don't really measure it specifically. 2/3 is the bulky things like celery and cucumber and apple, and then the rest of it is the fortified. It's where you get all the dense nutrients like the kale, the spinach, the cilantro, the ginger. Okay, so that juice that you just had, the base of it was celery, cucumber, and green apple. What I used to flavor it with was ginger, lemon, cilantro. Oh, and I added a bit of pineapple for you guys too to sweeten it even more. Yeah, this was not. So you can see that you may have a long way to go before your taste buds go back to a normal setting where even this juice that you sweet. This green juice that you guys tasted, for me, is too sweet. I added pineapple on top of the green, and I put in more green apple than I normally put in. I wanted to make it a little user-friendly for tonight. So there was pineapple, ginger, lemon, a lot of green apple that flavored it. And if that was still too yucky for you, you're the right candidate for an extended juice feast. Okay? What else did I put in there? Yeah, so those are the ingredients. And there's no right or wrong answer in terms of the amounts, except you want to go easy on the pineapple and moderate on the green apple. And the other ingredients, you can throw in as much as your taste buds want them.
Did you have greens in there too?
Yeah, the kale. Did I say kale? Oh yeah, so sorry. The bulk of it was cucumber and celery. The bulk of the volume. The flavor was from the ginger, the apple, the cilantro, the pineapple, but then all the dense nutrients, not that you didn't get any from cucumber and celery, you do. You get a lot of minerals and a lot of vitamins from that too. But compared to kale, this is so much more densely packed in nutrient. So you get the fortification from that juice from the kale that I added in, and I put liberal amounts of kale. I think for that gallon of juice, I put this whole tub was full of kale juice. This whole thing was full in a gallon of juice. So it was quite fortified for you guys. And experiment. Do just celery and apple one day. Just do celery, cucumber, ginger, and lemon, and see how that turns out. Just do half kale and quarter lemon and a quarter green apple. See how that turns out. There's no right or wrong recipe or answer. Your taste buds are going to guide you into what you prefer, and cycle the different dark leafy greens so you don't get stuck on one nutrient pattern for the whole time. Yes?
What is the serving size?
For example, I made a whole gallon. That's, if I was doing that I would do that for a juice challenge that I do, and that would last me at least a full day, 8 8-ounce glasses.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, roughly you're taking 8 ounces at a time.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So, like one of these. So if you get one of these juicers, this is how you gauge the portion size. If you're just going by glass, well, this will make a nice tall glass of juice. This bucket right here. So you keep juicing until this thing is full. Okay. The celery, cucumber gets to about here. Okay, time to go to the kale. You keep putting kale in until it's about here. And then, you put some apple, you put some ginger, and then it top. I don't have this down to a science, other than I'm just very experienced, and I just throw things in there. You guys are going to do trial and error, and you're going to follow some of these recipes exactly before you get used to it. And if you've got this juicer, well, it's measured on the side here. This will make a good, a good 2 short glasses, or 1 very tall glass of juice. You just keep juicing till the bucket's full.
What was your flu shot?
Yeah, the flu shot is very, very constant. So it's an enormous amount of ginger and lemon with some apple in there to sweeten it a little bit. And then I watered it down a little bit because I realized I put too much ginger. So.
And this is supposed to help you with that shot.
Oh, that flu shot is just so good for the immune system and digestion. If you've got immunity issues, if you've got digestive issues, if you've got nausea, start every morning with that shot of ginger. Unbelievable difference you're going to notice. Okay, so that's what we got. I'm not sure if there's any more juice left. If you guys want seconds, there are seconds. Yeah, cabbage is so nutrient dense. I often throw cabbage in the mix. Red cabbage, green cabbage, I'll throw it in. I'll fit it in there.
So anything like cabbage.
And you get a lot of water out of cabbage, so it's good for volume too. In this one.
Peas, beans.
Whatever.
Out of the garden. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a garden and you pluck that plant live, it's still alive, and you extract the juice, and that's the absolute best case scenario you could do for your body. It's unbelievable the benefits that you get from live plants. Unbelievable. Yeah, so in those ginger shots, I'll often throw in a package of mint in those ginger shots. Or in the taller green juice that you had, I'll often throw mint too. It's a great flavor to add different herbs. Some of you might like the more like of a tomato savory. Like some of you guys might have like a savory taste bud, inclination. And you could do that too. And asparagus, I like it. Hey, let's not knock asparagus. I love asparagus. So. Email list at the front. Sign challenge only, recipes only, recipes and whatever, or don't sign it. It doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, whatever you want to jump into, let us know how I can help. If you want to just do it on your own, that's fine. But I hope you guys got some information on where to go and the benefits of including this in your daily diet. There's some extra juice right here. I'll stick around for some questions if you want, but that's all I got for you guys tonight, okay? Let me just...
Can you throw a carrot in once in a while?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing job of them juices. I love both of them.
Thank you.
What about tomatoes and peppers?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you like those flavors, and you can definitely extract a lot of...
Green beans would...
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely... You could get juice out of any of those. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I didn't mean to vilify carrots.
Oh, no, I just...
You can
help.
you can throw in carrots. Carrots have a very strong flavor as well. It's kind of like not as strong as beets, but I avoid carrots for the taste of overpowering everything else in the juice. So if I'm going to have carrot juice, I'm going to have a very small glass of just carrots, for example. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's a flavor thing for me.
For beets?
Just beets alone. Beets. Just beets alone.
That overpowers.
Beets and apples. Beets and apples are good. Beets, apples, and lemon is even better. Beets, apple, lemon, and ginger is even better than that, you know. But when I mix the green juice, I keep the beets out.
You always leave the peeling on the lemon?
Organic, I do. Non-organic, take it off for sure.
Okay.
It's too full of pesticides.
If you were doing flu shots for like 2 people, how much ginger are we talking?